Hi friends, it's Lala. After doing my video where I reacted to other booktubers doing this, if you liked this, you should read this videos, I figured it was time to do my own. I'm gonna give you 10 book recommendations based on 10 comparable titles that are more popular. I'm going to try and cover a good amount of genres, and please keep in mind that I'm not trying to find books that have identical plots. These are just books that have a similar theme or a similar character, a similar tone, something in common that makes me believe you will like this release if you also enjoyed the aforementioned title. If you can think of any books that are even better recommendations, please let me know. I haven't read all the books in the world, so these might not be the two most similar plotted things ever. They're just two books that I enjoyed that I think you might agree. And I'm gonna do it all in 10 minutes. Start the clock! First up, if you enjoyed The Maze Runner by James Dashner, I do believe you will also like The Echo Room by Parker Peebyhouse. These books both start out with characters waking up, having no prior knowledge of who they are or where they came from, and they're in a dystopian future of sorts. In my opinion, The Echo Room is largely inspired by The Maze Runner. There's a lot more characters in here. This one only follows 2. Time is not necessarily linear here. What they have in common is there's a frightening entity, there's mysterious vibes. It's a reflection, a commentary in some ways on society. The Echo Room is a standalone while this is a series, so there's a lot less explanation. But if you find series to be too much of a commitment or arduous to read, The Echo Room. Next up, if you enjoyed The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, I think you will like My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. Both of these follow a cast of unlikable characters, a limited cast. This one, 2 strangers meet on a plane and agree to murder the spouse of one of them. This one involves spouses who murder for pleasure. You might say this is more comparable to Dexter. However, if we're talking standalone domestic thrillers following co-conspirators, I do believe you will enjoy both. They're about murder with great twists and great writing. Up next, I have Exit Pursued by a Bear by E.K. Johnston. If you enjoyed this teen pregnancy tale, I think you will also enjoy Learning to Breathe by Janice Lynn Mather. Both of these follow young women dealing with a non-consensual pregnancy, the choices they have to make, how misunderstood they are and their situation is in their community, and ultimately dealing with a difficult choice that they have to make. Moving on to some science fiction fantasy, if you liked Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, I think you'll love Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. To be honest, this is a very difficult book to find a comparable title to that I have read and enjoyed. But you know I couldn't do this video without talking about my favorite book of the year. Both of these are character-driven novels with the characters being followed, observed for a greater purpose. They both deal with technology and alternate universe situations. In Dark Matter, we're following a man who wakes up to a life he doesn't remember. In Middlegame, we're following twins Roger and Dodger who have been engineered for a life they don't know yet. They are genre bending and just full of mind fuckery. My 5th pairing of this list are short story collections by a singular author. If you liked The Thing Around Your Neck by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, I think you will enjoy Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. These collections include 12 and 8 stories respectively, all revolving around a multitude of topics: feminism, race, culture, socioeconomic status. I did appreciate the intersectionality of this one. There's a lot of queer characters, and this also has more genres throughout, but I found both of these extremely powerful with very similar writing styles. So if you enjoyed one, I think you'll enjoy the other. Next up, if you are a fan of Leanne Moriarty's Big Little Lies, I think you will quite enjoy Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding. Both mysterious familial dramas, as well as having children in kindergarten, This has a group of women, some of them meeting for the first time. There's a murder at the front of the book, and you find out by the end who has died and why and how all of these people are connected. In Her Pretty Face, you also have a mysterious element because one of the two main women in the story, you know going in, is a murderer. They become friends also because their children are the same age. One of them is new to town, and they have mysterious pasts that you find out throughout the book, and they find out about each other throughout the book. These are both pretty slow narratives in my opinion, with a huge payoff at the end. Up next, if you enjoyed Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, or really any Anna Marie McLemore, I think you will really connect with The Wise and the Wicked by Rebecca Potus. Both are YA books in the fantasy genre, and both following families full of women with some magic. This book follows Estrella, who has magical gardens. The women cannot leave the property, and also if they fall in love too deeply, their lovers will vanish. In this book, we're following Ruby, and her family has visions of their death. They write it in this book, and then when they die, the family gets together and reads the vision of the woman who has died. Her vision has always come true, and then suddenly visions aren't coming true and everything is questioned. These books have a lot in common: the heavy cultural influence, the featuring of queer characters. I love both, and I think you will too. Next on my list is the one book that I don't have. I don't know where my copy went, but if you liked Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, I think you will love The First Time She Drowned by Carrie Clutter. Both following trauma, mental health, and family issues. While the books have a different tone overall, I believe, and these characters are different ages. Charlie is just beginning high school, while Cassie is just beginning college. I do find the themes to be very similar. They are quite heavy YA, dealing with really intense, potentially triggering subject matter. I haven't read Perks for quite a number of years, but I would say this is heavier. If you found Perks to be powerful and moving, and you enjoyed the slow nature of just following one character throughout a short time period, I think you will also get a lot from The First Time She Drowned. Next up, I have The Mara Thieves by Sherry Demeline. If you enjoyed this, I think you will also enjoy Moon of the Crusted Snow by Wapisha Grice. These are both at their core survival stories, each set in a near future setting. This one a little further in the future, a little more science fiction influence. They both follow Indigenous communities in a post-apocalyptic setting. This one more at the beginning of the situation where power has just gone out. The world is slowly falling apart, and they're both about trying to survive the elements, but also surviving other human beings. These both have a really isolated tone. In this one, you're following a community in the wintertime trying to support each other and ration their food while being forced out of their community by people who do not belong to their community. Obviously, with a lot of current societal commentary, The Mara Thieves also is following a community being run out and murdered in order for people to steal Indigenous people's bone marrow, as it's believed that that is what's giving them the ability to dream. With a lot of discussion of history and global warming and commentary on relevant issues, I think you will love both of these. And lastly, I have Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed, which if you enjoyed, I think you should also pick up The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali by Sabina Khan. These books are heavy YA contemporary, following pretty similar plots. Both books, I believe, start in the USA and involve teens falling in love against their parents' wishes and then being taken back to their home countries. This one Pakistan, this one Bangladesh, in order for the parents to force these characters into arranged marriages. They deal with respecting their culture, but also challenging expectations. These are both quite hard-hitting and difficult to read at times. If you enjoyed Written in the Stars and you're looking for some queer representation, Roxana is a lesbian and a female-female relationship is heavily featured in here. There's also a lot of homophobia at the forefront of this book. So with these and a lot of other books that I talked about in here, definitely look up any trigger warnings, content warnings, if that's something that you need to look into before checking them out. And there you have it. 10 recommendations of books that I love based on 10 other books, mostly that I love, in 10 minutes. So I hope you find something new to read. Let me know what you think of anything I said or other recommendations based on anything I talked about, and I'll see you later. Bye.